Welcome to another episode of Slave Sermons.
Why don't you pattern your life after mine?
Black service, 13 hours long. You fall asleep, no one will mess with you. You can't fall asleep in a black church. You got stuff to do. You got assignments. You got to turn to your neighbor.
Look at your neighbor, say, I'm coming.
Just nudge somebody next to you and say, you in the right house.
Look at your neighbor one more time, say she's talking to you right now.
You talking to me?
Look at your neighbor, say, never. Touch your neighbor. Come on, hug your neighbor. Somebody say next dimension.
You ought to touch your neighbor and say, thank God.
Or just touch somebody and say, the anointing call.
So tell your neighbor, say, don't let sin mess you up.
Would you just look at your neighbor and tell him,
Hi, neighbor. I'm glad to be with you.
Look at somebody and tell them you've been called. Somebody say next level.
Tell somebody, want to call.
Touch somebody and tell them before you get in the mess. Look at somebody, tell them I'm going to get mine tonight. Look at your neighbor and say, you are on record. Somebody shout glory. Touch somebody and say victory, victory.
Copy, copycat. Copy, copycat. Do everything I do.
Tell your neighbor, say, be careful with these lines you get into.
Touch somebody and ask them, what are we doing? Somebody say, be ready.
Please would be nice.
Touch somebody next to you. Tell somebody to share.
Tell your neighbor, say, you said you're going to walk in the gates.
Shake somebody's hand. Shake somebody's hand like you're going to shake it off of them. Somebody shout elevation.
Somebody say right.
Shake somebody's hand.
Look at somebody, say, please be real.
Why don't you tell somebody, neighbor? Look at your neighbor, say, don't count God out.
I said a please would be nice.
So tell your neighbor, you got to stand for holiness.
Tell somebody I'm living by faith.
But I dare you to look at somebody and tell them, baby, I'm getting ready to have this baby.
Look at your neighbor.
He's looking at you, kid.
Touch your neighbor and tell them, say, don't lose your faith. Somebody say, we're moving forward.
Why don't you pattern your life after mine?
Slave Sermons.